Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Afri Abundance. In this video, I'm going to be sharing a very informative and really history-filled website that I have been excited to have come across and been studying. So this is the 101lasttribes.com. And what you're going to find here is a plethora of information regarding African history. So you'll learn West African tribes, Central African tribes, Eastern African tribes, and then the Australo-Africa tribes in the South. So it will give you the option to view visually. You'll be able to see what the people look like. You'll see a list of all of the tribes. You'll be able to go through countries and you'll be able to take a look at their cultures. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the visual here, and it'll give you a lot of different groups of people across the continent. And there are a lot of well-known and not so well-known tribes of people. So like this first one here, a lot of people know about the Afar. So you'll see a picture here of an Afar woman. But they also have different tribes of people that are kind of unknown, that people don't really know much about. You'll see the Baga, the Anyi or Agni, the Baka, the Balumbe. And when you click on them, you can find more information about where they come from. So the Bana people come from Ethiopia. It'll show you some pictures here of them. You can go down in alphabetical order and figure out where all of these people come from. So if you want to figure out who are the Chokwe, where did the Chokwe come from? The Chokwe come from the Congo, the DR Congo. So you'll see more pictures there of them. So lots of really informative historical information can be found here. I myself have been on a journey into my maternal ancestry and have found my maternal foremothers to have come from Sierra Leone within the Mende. So there's no picture here for the Mende. However, I'm going to scroll back up to the list and look for it that way. Some of them are not listed, so you can also look at it through each flag. I believe they have the Mende here. If not, I will look for it through the flag. So here's the Mende here. Oh, and this is actually not the same Mende. Let me go back to countries, because there is a wide variety of Mende speaking groups within the continent. So Mende and then the Mende of Sierra Leone are kind of different. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the flag here and we'll see Sierra Leone, and then we'll see that there are 16 ethnic groups, 32% are Mende, 32% are Temne, and then we have the minority groups such as the Fula, the Limba, the Mandingo, the Creole, the Kuranko, Loko, Susu, Yalunka, the Sherbo. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the Mende, and it'll give you a photo gallery here where you can kind of look at the village people. There is a section here where you can figure out distinctive features. There's a video gallery. There's also historical photographs. And you'll also see here the different names that come under Mende. And I believe that is very much attributed to history and how things have changed over time. However, you'll see here Mende, Mendib, Mendes, Huro, Wuro, and it'll just tell you some information about these groups of people here. And majority of the Mende people come from Sierra Leone and Liberia, since they are neighboring countries. And it'll state here Mende people are a subset of Mande ethno-linguistic groups which belong to the larger Niger-Congo phylum, living mainly in Sierra Leone, with a small representation in the neighboring Liberia. The Mende is the second largest tribe after their neighbors and Sierra Leone's Aboriginals, the Temne people. Some people believe that both Mende and Temne have the same population and together form the two largest tribes in Sierra Leone. So I find it interesting how the word Aboriginals is represented here. I think there's a lot of misunderstanding as to the terminology of an Aboriginal and where an Aboriginal comes from. A lot of people attribute it to the Americas, so on and so forth. So just kind of being able to see that it is very much more diverse and understanding how these words are used is very crucial to understanding the history of peoples. So it'll tell you here the Mende are divided into two groups. There are the Halemo and the Kpoa, and basically it speaks about a lot of the spiritual practices. There are a lot of secret societies. It'll tell you about who their colonizers were. So basically the Portuguese had a lot to do with the slave trade within Sierra Leone, also the British, and then as you can see here, there was also a portion of history that included Cuban plantations and Cuban slave owners of Mende people. So it'll tell you here the Cuban slave owners tried to transport the Mende people to another part of Cuba aboard a slave ship called the Amistad. En route, the Mende and other slaves mutinied and took control of the ship in hopes of being able to sail her back to Africa and freedom. Hampered by the remaining sailors, the Mende were captured by a U.S. Coast Guard vessel off of Long Island, New York. While the Cuban slave owners asserted that the Mende men were slaves and thus property, a Connecticut court pronounced them free and helped assist the Mende in getting back to their homeland. So it's a lot of really good history about how the slave trade operated from this part of the country and within this group specifically. Not one story tells all, so this is just a portion of that history there. It'll tell you about the location of peoples within this group, demography, language, history. You'll see some pictures here of a Mende chief in a warrior costume. It'll talk about the different settlements, commercial activities, industrial arts. Then it'll tell you about the different types of arts, a lot of their spiritual practices, as you can see here with these 3 or 4 pictures listed here. There's a lot of spiritual significance for those practices. It'll talk about land tenure, kin groups and descent, marriage, inheritance, socialization, lots of really good information, social control, conflict, and then we'll get down to religious beliefs. So it'll talk about Ngewo, the supreme being in Mende religion, that they believe to be the creator of the universe and everything in it. It'll tell you about their spiritual practices in regards to ancestral spirits. So lots of really good information, religious practitioners. It'll talk about birthing ceremonies, Once again, their secret societies. Lots of really good information. So if you within the diaspora are wondering about who your people are, if you've learned your tribal ancestry, this is a really good resource. You can break it down by country. You can find your flag here, click on it, and figure out what types of people you have in your lineage. So if I wanted to also go into Liberia, since there is a correlation of ancestral significance within Liberia and Sierra Leone, I also have been looking into the different ethnic groups within Liberia, a lot of their history when it comes to slavery, because again, the Mende are connected within that region as well. Lots of really good stuff. So I would definitely suggest anyone who's interested to take a look into this website. It's very informative. It's very easy to get through. It's not very hard. Like I said, there's a list of tribes here, so if you want to break it down by name, as you can see here, you can see the Ashanti. Many people know come from Ghana, Ivory Coast, and Togo. You can learn a lot of history about the Ashanti. If you want to know about any tribal group within the African continent, it is all here. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I was definitely excited to share another beautiful resource, and I hope that it comes in handy for anyone who is interested. Comment and subscribe to my channel for more DIYs, recipes, and reviews. Thanks for watching.